Hello, fiends, and welcome to a very special Halloween edition of Figure Study, where we appreciate the brrr in Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. I don't know. They can't all be winners. I am not a professional crypt keeper. You may be wondering, why have I chosen Superhuman Samurai Squad Drago to be the Halloween special? That is because Drago is essentially a costume to be worn by Servo from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad. Servo's the Ultraman-looking guy. Unfortunately, I do not have Servo at the moment, but I am filming this now with the idea that I will be getting Servo in shortly, and so I can just kind of get the Drago part out of the way and then toss in Servo, and when it's all cut together, you won't know the difference. So, don't know why I'm even explaining this to you. But that is the thinking behind this. Drago is essentially a costume. It's Halloween, so costume Halloween. It's the best I got. I don't have any scary toys, I'm sorry. So, I used to have this guy back in the day, and he was one of my favorites, and still is one of my favorites, because it's just really nifty, honestly. Drago is made up of two different ships. There's this kind of nondescript, obvious dragon head looking thing, with two tiny little wings in front, two large wings in back, and this awkwardly positioned booster thing. And I mean, it's fine. It gets the job done for what it needs to be. This is probably the weaker of the two, but that's not saying much. The obvious dragon head is a little distracting, but it comes into play later. So yeah, this thing is just kind of simple, but there. That off to the side so we can take a look at the big guy here. And the big guy here is probably the better of the two, but not necessarily great. Like, it's a more traditional flying vessel kind of style, but first of all, can't actually tell where anyone sits. Like, is it up here? Maybe? I don't know. Like, there's no real designated cockpit area. There's very obvious, like, dragon claws hanging off the sides here, and very obvious head crest there. These teeny tiny little wings that, realistically speaking, would not work. I mean, they tuck back, so that's kind of neat, but yeah, it's a very, very simple vehicle. They're both very simple, just taken on their own. But that's only that's only a small fraction of what these two actually do. And just gonna do a quick size comparison. So we have them next to a Titan's Return Deluxe, and we'll just drop Samus in there between the two of them. So they are pretty sizable vehicles. And yes, I know I said I don't have any scary figures. I could technically consider Twinferno scary, but I already did a video on Twinferno, so I didn't want to do Twinferno again. Would do Grotesque, but Hasbro Toy Shop did that stupid thing where they announced it like the middle of the day. I didn't even know Grotesque was available until after it was already sold out, so nah. Anyway, back to Drago. Drago is very kind of simple in its separate vehicle modes. The color scheme isn't bad, though. I like the whole black and white with primarily red, like a little bit of blue and yellow, and like these gold highlights. Like it's a generally cohesive color scheme. One thing I will say, which we'll notice more once the transformation goes through, like once I do the transformation, but since this is not my original Drago, this is one that I ended up getting secondhand off of eBay in pretty good condition, honestly. But because this isn't mine, there are some stickers missing. And I'll point out the spots that typically have stickers, but yeah, so there's just a few places where there should be color and there isn't, but overall, you don't really notice it in the vehicle modes. And anyway, that is enough of that. Let's take a look at the combine mode, because yes, they do that. And so here we have Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad Drago. Fix that there. In his combine mode. And as you can see, he is a dragon, complete with a dragon tail. And I have alwaalways been quite the fan of this. It's like... there we go. It's like bulky, but in a way that works. And it's just fun. I like the fact that the little one kind of goes into the middle, the big one folds around it, and then opens up with like the limbs and stuff. It's a neat little trick, and Drago has always just been, as I've said, a favorite of mine. It's a really it's a cool figure. And again, because mine is used, some of the joints are a little bit loose. It's a little tough to get him to stand in certain positions, and this thing, for whatever reason, is very loose. Like if you knock it down too far, it just flops. It doesn't quite clip in as strongly as a fresher version, I guess, would. Got him like this just so we can kind of take in the detail from the front. Some nice gold claws for the feet, big puffy red thighs. I like the chest detail, like that emblem in the center. And he's got the gold claws, chrome shoulder-mounted cannons. There's a lot of really neat little touches on this guy. And of course, the head, which this works much better than the compacted version. Just how this lifts up to reveal the eyes. Well, not that the eyes were particularly hidden, but this makes the eyes more visible. And then, of course, you open up the mouth and you've got the chrome cannon in there. And you can open up the mouth further. Do like a huge blast, but I like to do just a little bit in this mode so that it's not comically large. Now, in terms of stickers and whatnot, there are, I believe I'm missing, there's like a sticker that's supposed to go on this piece back here that just kind of goes into this gap here. There's I've got the one there, but there's supposed to be an orange thing here and an orange bit here. So, like, I'm not missing too many stickers, but I am missing some. But overall, it's a nifty looking, rather stompy looking dragon mode. And I like the way it all comes together. It's really neat. Not a whole lot of silver on him in his dragon mode, just like a little bit on the shoulders there, but lots of gold chrome, which is neat. And when he comes together, he is a big sucker too. Here we have the Titan's Return Deluxe there, so you can see he's a biggin. And of course, bring in Samus there, so you can see he is a not small fellow. And yeah, I enjoy this combination a lot. It's very, very cool. I'm fine with the kind of chunkiness on the back because the folded up wings kind of cover that bump a little bit. And also you have the tail, which you can kind of pose a little bit. And yeah, it's a very cool toy that was, or is perhaps a little limited, but you know, it was in the 90s. This thing honestly is pretty darn impressive for what it was at the time. And that was one of the reasons why I loved this thing so much. It's just the transformation was simple but really neat. I liked how it just went from two different vehicles to this. And then there's also the combined mode with Servo, where it turns into an actual costume, which we will get into as soon as Servo gets here. So until then, I'm going to say goodbye and... oh, wait a minute. Okay, so that was unexpected. Servo just happened to show up right at the right at the time I was closing out the video. So I guess let's do another quick side by side. So drag off to the side there, and Servo, come on, stand, you weird little Ultraman analog. Okay, Servo and Samus and Twinferno. So, Servo himself is a pretty decent size. Okay, now let's take a look at Servo proper. Come here, you. Get him centered here. Servo is basically like I said, he's like a pseudo Iron Man, pseudo Ultraman. Honestly, I think that's because in the Japanese version of the show, which was not Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, it was like something Gridman. I think it actually was meant to be an Ultraman spin-off, and then we brought it to the US and made it weird. But it's not. It's a pretty decent looking figure. The torso is definitely a little too dense, which is probably because this, at least the Japanese version, had lights and sounds, I believe. And it's funny because there's still the battery compartment back here that opens to nothing. There's still the holes for a speaker and space for lights, and there's just nothing there. It's very weird. Yeah, that's just kind of what we got. The overall coloring is nice. Mine, because I got a used one, is a little beat up. The stickers on the shins have been scraped off. You can see the back was a little messed up. There's some paint scuffs here and there. That's fine, because I only paid like $10 for this, and I only needed him to wear Drago as a costume, so I wasn't too broken up about the fact that he was a little scuffed. That's fine. That doesn't really bother me. So let's take a closer look at him here. What? Okay, that was weird. Let's take a closer look at Servo. It is a nice head, honestly. I think I kind of dig the almost like a Roman centurion or even Spartan kind of fin at the top, which don't know if that's what they were going for, but that's kind of the look that it has. And also a neck guard for some reason. I don't know. But the face does look good. It's kind of got that human robot thing that is fairly common with Ultraman. This big blue thing on his forehead, which is very, very muddied. Kind of a nice chest design there. I like the metallic blue they used in a few places here, and that's a nice silver. I also like the design on these shoulders, how it kind of goes out like that. It also allows for some articulation, so it's a neat look. It's a neat look that also has a function. And let's see, there are supposed to be stickers on the forearms as well, which again, not there. There's some nondescript details around the waist area. A little bit on the back too that's not actually colored in any way. And here you can see again the back being kind of marked up, which also, like I said, no big deal because he's just going to wear Drago. And here we have the shins that are missing their stickers. But overall, nice color combination with the silver, white, red, and little kind of black highlights. So let me bring Drago back in here. Nope, you're gonna need to fix that. Okay. Move you off to the side a little bit, because I want to take a look at Drago's chest. Don't read too much into that. The reason I wanted to take a look at Drago's chest is because if you notice, the design for Servo's chest and Drago's chest are actually very similar. We've got the blue on the left and right, and on the bottom, and then red in the center with like a little bit of yellow. It's kind of hard to see on Drago, but there is actually kind of a translucent orangey yellow gem type thing in the center there. So it's an interesting way to kind of tie the two figures together. Anyway, that is enough of that. Let's get this guy costumed up, shall we? And here we have Drago and Servo combined up to make, I believe in the American version, this is Formo. I don't remember the Gridman name. Something like Dragon Kaiser or something like that. But yeah, this is freaking awesome. I love this combination. The steps are really neat. I really always loved how these gauntlets kind of pop out of the what become the shoulders, and how the fists pop out and everything like that. It's really cool. And like, you've got the dragon claws that make little shoulder accents, and there's just so much cool stuff to this. Unfortunately, as I said, there are some stickers missing on mine. Like I said, these bits, so there should be a little bit more color on the gauntlets. These that are now the knees, and these that are now the bottoms of the feet should have some orange, and they do not. And there's like a little sticker that goes on the shin there that I'm also missing. So I am missing some color, but it's not so bad. Yeah, even with the stickers missing, this is just really, really cool. I mean, just the overall silhouette is really cool. The way this bulks out Servo is really nice. I love the big shoulders. You know me and big shoulders. I like the big boots. And I really like how these shoulders tie into the chest decoration, how this blue just kind of continues all the way across from the shoulder across the chest to the other shoulder. That is a really neat touch. Bring him a little closer here so we can look at that new helmet. And I also really like the helmet. It's got kind of a Gundam style face and head crest, which is really neat. Some of the gold chrome has rubbed off on the bit there on mine, which is a shame, but overall it's not really noticeable when you're looking at him on a shelf. So I'm okay with it. But I do really, really think this is neat. I also think it's neat how you can lift up the helmet in different points. So like, if you wanted to, you could totally just pull the helmet back, and there you just have Servo's head. Or close it back up, and boom. Interesting to note too, it's hard to tell, but the eyes are actually a translucent plastic, with the idea being that when these come down, the lights from Servo's head would shine through when the lights are activated, and lights and sounds are activated. But since this one does not have lights and sounds, it is completely pointless. Now there is one last thing to do with this guy, and that is give him his giant cannon. And this is neat. I liked how this works, because what you do is you put it into his fist, and ordinarily this would be problematic because you just have him like he can't really hold it that well. His joints aren't strong enough. But on this side only, so only in his right hand, there's actually a clip right here that will clip onto this bit here. So when you line it up, which I'm trying to do without actually looking at it, there you go. So you line it up and clip it in place, and that makes sure the cannon doesn't go anywhere. So now it is nice and stable. It's not going to, like, his arm's not going to move, it's not going to flop around. Now he's just a big, awesome looking armored robot dude with a big cannon. And that is really neat. Unfortunately, some of the articulation is hindered by the massive armor, but it looks so cool, I really don't care. So let's pull back a little bit so we can do a proper bit of size comparising. So first and foremost, there we have Twinferno, and as you can see, he is a Formo rather, is quite large, much bigger than Drago. And then you bring in Samus, and you can okay, that's starting to get a little weird. Anyway, Twinferno back there. Here you can see Samus and Twinferno, and yeah, Formo is a quite big dude. He's a little bit shorter than a Combiner Wars Combiner when he's all together like this. Alright, let's get these two out of the way here. Anyway, yeah, so Formo, very cool. I am just super in love with this combination, have been since I had the original toy. It's such a neat overall look, just the way that the armor bulks everything out, the giant cannon, the predominantly red, but still a fair bit of gray and dark gray, and of course that gold chrome color scheme. It all looks really good. There are a lot of nice little points and angles on him that make him look even more like a bot you would not want to mess with. And yeah, I think I have rambled on long enough with regards to this old 90s toy that very few people other than myself probably care about. It's all in the spirit of Halloween, because as I said, Drago is basically a costume for Servo, and this is a pretty awesome costume, you have to admit. Like, you don't really see Servo in there. It's really cool. Anyway, that's gonna do it. Thank you everybody for watching. As per usual, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Any combination of those three would make me a happy Rob. And remember, art is more than meets the eye, and happy Halloween. No, you're awful. No.
And that's why this mold is the best toy to come out of Combiner Wars. Not just Combiner Wars, but perhaps all Transformer toy lines ever.